What is up, YouTube? Johnny B here again today, and we are back with the Evo once again for another clutch issue. We've been plagued by this for a while now. We knew that we should have replaced the clutch last time we did the clutch master cylinder, and we had to drop, the transmission to get to the monolock because it was the factory one was messed up, so we installed the monolock on it, and we just didn't have money for it. So now we do, and now the clutch is finally slipping. After so many miles, and being at the horsepower level that it is, it's like close to 400 horsepower. I think it hit 500 horsepower on race gas, but 400 horsepower on pump gas. So we need to upgrade the clutch. So the first thing that you do is you go on forums and be like, what's the best clutch that you can get? And obviously there's like really expensive ones, but you're always looking for the ones that are like in the middle. Like for Evo, the middle range is like $500–600. So you're like looking around and you're commenting, and everybody's saying, "Oh, this is the best one. This one works for me. I really like this one. This one doesn't work. It chatters and stuff like that." And in my experience, 6-puck clutches have always been the worst, and I just do not want to buy another one after my first experience with one. So we decided to skip all the hours of research and going through the forums and trying to find out which clutch was going to be the best one for us. So we just went with the best one for everyone. We went with the Exedy Twin Disc Hyper Series Racing Clutch. This thing is gorgeous. I've always wanted to get something like this, maybe for the FRS if I want to upgrade the transmission later on. I would totally get a clutch like this. And this thing is amazing. So let's show you guys and unbox it. We got some manuals, some stickers, and ooh la la, look at that. That is one gorgeous clutch. We did a bunch of work yesterday and last night, and we just wanted to make sure that we got the engine out, so we didn't record any of the stuff because we needed to get stuff done. And you guys have probably seen other videos like this, but we decided to go more difficult route, I guess you can say, or maybe easier depending on how you see it. And that was removing the engine and the transmission. Got it all taken apart, because not only do we need to swap the clutch, we also need to swap the compressor, clean out all the lines, and pretty much redo the whole AC system because we were having issues with it previously. So we want to make sure we get that fixed. And then for some reason there's like an oil leak on the engine, so we figured we'd take it out, check everything, see where it's leaking or see what's going on, so we can reseal all that and make sure we clean it all up and leave it all nice and ready to put back in. That way we can clean up the engine bay and everything and just pretty much get everything set up. We also did the brake pads, put some new brake pads on there, and put some new oil, got some more diff oil and stuff like that. So we can just pretty much do the maintenance all at once while we're doing the clutch, so we don't have to deal with it in the meantime, and we can have this car ready to go with zero issues once again. So let's take that engine apart. So got the engine and the transmission separate, and the clutch wasn't looking too good. Luckily this was like ridiculously easy. We literally just unhooked the monolock that's right there in the middle, and just pulled off the transmission with 2 hands, obviously with 2 of us, and put it on the table, and we got it all out. So that's going to be the before, and then we're going to show you the after when we put the new clutch on. So it looks like this is very smooth. A bunch of hot spots everywhere. Same thing on the pressure plate, and the clutch wasn't fully worn out, so it was still drivable, but your clutch was just slipping like crazy the whole time just because it wasn't grabbing. So luckily we're gonna be swapping all this out with the new stuff, and we're not gonna have to worry about it anymore. So let's go ahead and remove this flywheel as well. Last time we removed the engine, we actually replaced the rear main seal just to avoid any leaks, and boy did that work, because this thing is super clean, not having any issues with that leaking. So that's something that makes us really happy, knowing that we don't have to replace the rear main seal, as it only has like 5,000 miles on it, maybe. And it's looking good. The throttle bearing is still looking good, so we don't have to replace that. And then the monolock, we're probably gonna be swapping over. That's what everybody recommends, putting the monolock back onto the new clutch. So we're probably gonna swap it over to that. And here we have the ACT flywheel we had. The clutch was a competition clutch, so it was already sort of upgraded. Or I don't know if these come stock, but that was in there. And this pressure plate was all hot spotted everywhere as well. So we're going to be going from this to that, which is going to be a huge upgrade, and hopefully we don't have this issue again where the clutch is going to be slipping for a while. So we got the throttle bearing collar off of that one, and we got the monolock off of this one. We literally just pulled it up, because when it doesn't have the throttle bearing, there's no issue with that. So now we're going to go ahead and push the monolock in to the new clutch, and there it goes. So it's gotta have a little bit of actuation. Yeah, that's how you know you did it right. But we have to remove all these bolts anyways, because we have to mount the flywheel to the engine before we even get any of that ready. Luckily Exedy, they mark it so you put them in the right orientation. You just gotta remember not to put the clutches backwards, because if you put the clutches backwards, even on these clutches, your clutch isn't gonna work. So just gotta make sure when we put that back together, we put it back together the way that we took it apart, because we do need to take it apart. Put all the bolts together so they don't get lost. Washers and bolts, there are 6 of them. And now we can remove this to see what the clutch discs look like. And now we can remove this to see what the clutch discs look like. There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. So we're gonna go ahead and put the last bolt for the flywheel. We are obviously using some Loctite. We're not gonna be using red, because we might need to remove it in the future, but that's just something that happens. So let's go ahead and put it on. Where did I leave the white marks? So here we are with the Evo. Got everything bolted up down under here. We got some fresh oil in the transmission, fresh oil in the transfer case, cleaned everything up, pretty much put everything together, and it's all looking good. So now we got to bring it down because all of it is done down here. We even connected everything that's down here pretty much. All of the axles and everything are installed. So now we got to bring the car down so we can go ahead and do all the wiring. So we got the down pipe on with the transfer case and the rear, the drive shaft. And then we also put, this is going to be the wideband so we can have an AFR gauge. And that's just a stock oxygen sensor. And then it connects to this piece. This piece we've had on here before. It's like a muffler, but it also has a wastegate on it. So when you reach 7 pounds of boost, you see the vacuum line, it opens up this little wastegate here so that you get a louder exhaust noise. So it pretty much bypasses the exhaust system that we have. We have a Borla, but under 7 pounds of boost, it's a nice quiet because it's got two mufflers, one muffler and the second muffler right there, and it just comes out the back. So now with the new downpipe, we have an open dump for the wastegate, the actual wastegate of the turbo. So that one is going to be going there, while this one also activates the other part of the exhaust. So we're going to have all kinds of noises. So I wonder how this is going to sound. And then here you can see the Eibach. So here we have a bare 4B11T. We have no connections on any of the sensors, no connections on the spark plug areas, and pretty much all the sensors, because all the harness is just dangling off the side. So now that we got everything done at the bottom, we have to kind of like snake all the cables through everywhere to get all that stuff to, you know, reconnect so we have everything running properly. So this is not too difficult of a task. Probably the hardest part is where we got to get some of the cables in through underneath the intake manifold to hook up to the starter and select some sensors that are down here and the alternator. But other than that, it's a pretty easy job to do. So we got to finish this down, but check that out. You can see the MAP exhaust manifold on there. It looks pretty good. We're thinking maybe leave the cover off, switch it for an aluminum one later on. So there's just more plans to come for the future, but this was just the hard stuff we wanted to get out of the way. It is running, as you guys can see. Everything feels and sounds really good. The new manifold that we put on it was also running pretty good. I probably didn't mention that in the video because the main thing was to do the clutch, but we also did the manifold and the downpipe. Burping the system right now as we speak, just letting it idle while we like burp it, get it up to temperature, make sure that you know, all the antifreeze is in there, and then the car's not gonna overheat. Make sure the fans are turning on. So like basic things that you do after you turn on a car that hasn't been running for a while. But everything's sounding really good. The car actually sounds quieter with the new exhaust setup, with the new exhaust manifold and the new downpipe. It sounds quieter even at cold start, which is kind of funny because it'll be loud once the wastegate opens up. Getting ready to drive it around. See how it's doing with the new clutch, with the new brake pads. We have to actually bleed the brakes as well. One of the lines got messed up, so we have to fix that. Just a bunch of little things that we did to, you know, make the car be tip-top shape and just make it not have any issues anymore.